Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. The SNP are running scared. They are craven and they are cowardly and they are refusing to be questioned. They're refusing to be scrutinised. They want to hide away for as long as possible in the vain hope that the story goes away. The story, of course, is the £11,000 phone bill. Well, it is not going away. And the more they hide, the worse it's going to get, because it is just highlighting the awfulness of the story and how they cannot even be brave enough to come out and try to explain people. They're just craven cowards. They really are. So, of course, you've got BBC Sunday Show on Sunday morning. It's hosted, of course, by Martin Gessler. And he invited the three of them involved to come along and to explain themselves in some way. Say why everyone appears to have been lying consistently and totally and changing their stories, and why everyone else is lying to back up other people. And none of them came on. Kendall refused, 86 refused, and the Fondler refused. None of them wanted to turn up. And so they sat there, and Martin Gessler had to explain to the viewers that Humza Yousaf, Shona Robison, and of course Michael Matheson had all been invited on, and all of them said no. Why? Well, because they can't agree to get their stories straight. Deary, deary me. But it isn't going to go away, and as we see, it's just going to get far, far worse. Here goes. So, shameful SNP hide from scrutiny, as three ministers, including Humza Yousaf himself, refused to appear on BBC Scotland amid Michael Matheson scandal. Well, we understand why Kendall won't come on. He just literally doesn't have the balls to do it. And of course, he's lied. Now, Matheson, we know, has lied and continually and changed his story several times. But Humza Yousaf has lied to try and protect him. And of course, all the lies are falling apart. Everyone knows that everyone is lying. No one can agree what the correct story should be. If you're going to lie, at least lie consistency, and all of you lie on the same thing. And that isn't happening. And of course, Shona Robison, who is in charge of all the monies, and that would have ultimately been the one who didn't pay him out at the time. Obviously, she wasn't there then, but is now the one sort of responsible for this. She does indeed have questions to answer as well. And of course, she won't go on. None of them will, because they all know how damaging it is. Anyway, BBC Scotland Sunday Show host Martin Gessler revealed that the First Minister, Shona Robison, and Michael Matheson all refused to be interviewed amid fears of questions about the scandal that is currently engulfing the Health Secretary. And until he resigns, pays back, and then faces charges of fraud, it isn't going away. He's got to be prosecuted. And of course, the police have dropped it because Dorothy Bain told the police to not continue this. She's in charge of justice. She told the police don't continue with this. So much for an independent judiciary. But then when Bain sits in on the cabinet, it is very much a case of the SNP marking their own homework, isn't it? Anyway, the SNP were accused of hiding from public scrutiny after three of their main ministers refused to invite the invite to appear on BBC Scotland's flagship Sunday show. Health Secretary Michael Matheson, First Minister Humza Yousaf both rebuffed attempts to question them on a scandalous week for the Nationalists. And Deputy First Minister Shona Robison initially accepted a request to speak on the show before pulling out on Saturday, presumably being told don't go on there because he's going to ask you questions about my friend stole £11,000 from the public purse and then lied continually about it. Host Martin Gessler revealed this while discussing the biggest story of the week, which of course is the bill. His colleagues have backed him to stay in the role despite being accused of misleading MSPs, and the media, of course, as well, threw his excuses for why he racked up such a huge charge while on a festive holiday in Morocco. He initially claimed it was a faulty SIM card. Turned out that was a lie. And then he said that he'd been doing a lot of constituency work. And of course that turns out that was a lie as well. Then he come clean and he tells everyone that it was his children had used it to watch football. And then the following day, after telling that to Humza Yousaf lies. It's just lie after lie after lie. None of them even know which is the proper lie that they need to be sticking to now. Anyway, Scottish Tory leader Douglas Ross did appear on the Sunday show. Of course he did. Every opportunity to stick one in, eh? Don't blame you, mate. And he blasted the SNP for allowing the Matheson scandal to affect them governing Scotland. Now, of course, the other little aside here, Matheson is the health secretary, and the health, the NHS and whatever is falling into disrepair, but he can't deal with it because he's too busy worrying about his phone bill. He can't be doing his main job. So relieve him of his main job until he sorts out this other business. But on the other hand, he shouldn't even be a representative of the people. He is now known an absolute liar and a thief. He should not be representing people. He should resign both as a minister and as an MSP. He described, this is Douglas Ross, described how viewers would be shocked and annoyed to hear that government ministers were refusing to answer questions about pressing topics affecting Scotland because of their embarrassment over their lives and thievery. He said that this is a sign that the Health Secretary needs to resign, as his judgment is now affecting his work and also his colleagues' work as well. And he said after his appearance, it's clear the SNP are now running scared of the Michael Matheson scandal. They are. They just can't answer it. They don't know where to go. They are running around like headless chickens. He's got to stay, because if he goes, it makes us look as though we're a bunch of lying thieves. Got news for you. You already look like a bunch of lying thieves. Get rid of him. It may slightly improve things. Anyway, he said it was, Ross again said, it's unacceptable that neither the Health Secretary nor Humza Yousaf are willing to answer questions on this issue when the former knowingly and repeatedly lied and the First Minister facilitated a cover-up. Now we discover that Shona Robison was so fearful of having to defend the indefensible that she cancelled her pre-arranged interview. The scandal is now impacting on the whole of the SNP government, he said. Not just the Health Secretary who's ditching ministerial engagements to lie low, but the SNP must agree to Scottish Conservative demands for a debate in Parliament this week because there are so many key questions that remain unanswered. Like, why has he not resigned? But soon, I think. I can't see him lasting. He's got to go. He's got to give in to the pressure and go. He said that's regardless of whether or not Humza Yousaf finally does the right thing and sacks him. He simply cannot continue as Health Secretary, and the longer he does, the more his position in government becomes a distraction for Humza Yousaf and the rest of the SNP. The SNP minister is a close friend and ally of the First Minister, and so far has refused to resign because he's desperate for the money and he's desperate for the pension. He's not going. But he ultimately has to. Scottish Tory MSP Jamie Halcrow-Johnson said the SNP leadership are actively and collectively engaged in a campaign of hiding from public scrutiny. This is utterly shameful, he said. And it is. They don't want to answer the questions because they know how bad it is. They're scared. They're absolutely scared and ashamed. And they're terrified of what people will think. Well, we all know what people think. We all think you're a bunch of degenerate, lying bastards thieving £11,000 of public money. And even if you offer to pay it back, it doesn't mean you didn't steal it in the first place. He needs to go, and he needs to be prosecuted for fraud. Anyway, I shall stop there. I shall round off and come up. We'll finish the video. But it is just so typical of the SNP, isn't it? Coming up. Now, of course, nobody is surprised that they're in hiding because we know they're all ashamed. But how long can they hide? They will have things to do. They will want to get out there and talk to the press because they love being on TV and talking to the press and things. But they've got to know that as soon as they break cover and they come out and they say, look, I need to go and talk to you about this, they're going to be questioned about this £11,000. They're only delaying it. They're not eradicating it. It's not going away. People are not going to rest until Matheson has gone. They're out now. His skin. He's going to be skinned. He's going to be peeled like a banana because people want to know the truth. People deserve to know the truth. And they don't want lying thieves as representatives. Matheson has to go. It doesn't matter how long he hides. Ultimately, he'll have to be scrutinised. Anyway, we'll finish there. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed that one. It just goes to show what they are like, doesn't it? It just highlights how awful they are. But yeah, just the longer it goes on, the worse it's going to get. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, stay well. Till next time, I will see you and I will speak to you later. Bye.